The air on set had never felt this heavy. Cameras were ready, lights positioned perfectly, and the cast waited silently. But Bai Lu sat still, arms folded across her chest, lips tightly pressed together, eyes refusing to meet anyone else's. For over 2 weeks, she had barely said a word outside the script, and now not even those. Something had happened. Everyone knew it, but no one dared to ask. At first, the director thought it was exhaustion, maybe overwork, then maybe illness. But day after day, she arrived on set, flawless as always in appearance, yet cold and distant in spirit. She greeted no one. She laughed at nothing. The vibrant energy she used to bring had vanished into a strange silence that wrapped itself around her like a second skin. Then came the day the scene was scheduled. The scene they all feared. The one where Bai Lu and Shen Yue were supposed to confront each other, on screen. A scene full of emotional depth, betrayal, and raw honesty. The irony was cruel, because in real life, the betrayal felt real too. And whatever had happened between them, it was clear Bai Lu wasn't ready to face it. Everyone had heard the rumors, that something was said, that a private moment had been exposed, that Wang might have been the center of it all. But no one could piece it together, not fully. What they knew for sure was that Bai Lu had changed overnight, and Shen Yue had been absent ever since. Until now. The studio door creaked open. It was subtle, almost respectful. And then Shen Yue stepped in. She looked different. Not in how she was dressed, but in how she carried herself. There was tension in her shoulders, but also something calm in her eyes, like she had made peace with whatever storm had passed through her. The room fell into an unnatural silence. Crew members froze. The director leaned forward in his chair. Bai Lu didn't turn around. Her eyes stared ahead, fixed and unblinking. Shen Yue walked slowly across the floor, her footsteps echoing faintly in the large space. No script in her hand. No makeup artist in tow. She wasn't there to act. She was there for something else. She stopped just a few feet from Bai Lu. And then she spoke. One line. Just one. I never hated you, not even for a second. The moment shattered everything. Bai Lu's shoulders dropped. Her breathing changed. Her head slowly turned toward Shen Yue. And for the first time in weeks, her eyes filled with something raw, unspoken, and devastatingly human. Tears welled up in Bai Lu's eyes as if that single sentence had reached into the deepest part of her that had been locked away. The silence she had wrapped herself in finally cracked. Her lips trembled. A tear rolled down her cheek. Still, she said nothing. Not yet. But the change was visible. She looked at Shen Yue not as a rival or a threat, but as someone she had once called a sister. Shen Yue stood still, waiting, her own eyes glassy. The crew looked away, some wiping their faces. Even the director sat back in his chair, stunned. And then it happened. Bai Lu stood up slowly. She walked toward Shen Yue, stopped in front of her, and with a voice barely above a whisper said, "Why did it take you so long to say that?" Shen Yue nodded. No excuses, no explanations. Just honesty. "I was scared," she whispered back. "Scared that you wouldn't listen." "I wasn't listening," Bai Lu admitted, a painful truth rising between them. "But I needed to hear it anyway." In that moment, the cameras were forgotten. The script didn't matter. What unfolded in front of them was not acting. It was real. Two women, broken by silence, finally letting it go. That day, nothing was filmed. The producers agreed to push the schedule. Not because of a delay, but because something far more important had happened. Healing had started, and the news traveled fast. By the next morning, the headlines were everywhere. Not rumors, not speculation, but a video clip someone had taken, capturing that one line, and the way Bai Lu reacted. Comments flooded in. "I cried watching this." Shen Yue's words hit harder than anything this year. "I didn't know they were hurting this much off-screen." Fans who had picked sides began to question everything. People who had assumed, judged, and criticized started apologizing in the comment sections. And for the first time in weeks, Bai Lu posted on her social media a single image of her and Shen Yue from their earliest drama together, with the caption, "She spoke the truth I didn't know I was waiting for." It became the most shared post of the day. Whatever had happened before, the misunderstandings, the silence, the pain, was beginning to shift. Not erased, but transformed. And it all began with one line. The studio remained quiet after that moment. Everyone expected it to end with Bai Lu walking off set again like she had done so many times over the past few weeks. But she didn't. Instead, her eyes stayed locked on Shen Yue, and something had shifted in her face. The kind of shift that doesn't come from a script, not from acting, from truth. Shen Yue stepped forward, careful not to scare the fragile silence. The makeup artist slowly stepped back. The director had stopped giving commands. The boom mic operator held his arms stiff, barely breathing. And Bai Lu stood still in front of everyone, but somehow, it felt like she was floating. Shen Yue finally stopped in front of her and whispered another line, quiet enough that only Bai Lu could hear. Bai Lu blinked fast, her lips trembling now, and a small sound escaped from her throat, the kind of sound that sits somewhere between a gasp and a cry. Her hand moved to her mouth, and for the first time in weeks, she spoke. "I never thought you remembered that," she said, voice raw. Shen Yue nodded, eyes glassy. "You are the only one who ever meant it," Shen Yue replied. People around them were confused. What were they talking about? Was this a line from an old drama? Was it real? Then came the next moment no one expected. Bai Lu dropped the script in her hand. She didn't need it anymore. Her eyes met Shen Yue's again and said softly, "You hurt me so much." "I know," Shen Yue answered, "and I've hated myself for it every day since." A strange stillness spread across the room. The scene wasn't being filmed anymore. The cameras weren't rolling. But everyone felt like they were watching the climax of something far more important than a drama. "I wrote that note because I couldn't carry it anymore," Shen Yue added, her voice shaking. "I wanted you to find it. I hoped you would, even if it broke you." And now Bai Lu's walls collapsed. She covered her face and broke into tears, her sobs silent but powerful. Shen Yue didn't move. She just waited. And then, slowly, Bai Lu stepped forward. She didn't say anything. She just hugged her. And everyone in the room finally exhaled at once. Some even wiped away tears. It wasn't scripted. It wasn't rehearsed. It was something real. Two former best friends, maybe something more, reconnecting in the rawest way possible. The director didn't dare interrupt. The cameras stayed off. And the moment passed like thunder in a quiet valley. Later that day, someone from the wardrobe team posted anonymously that they saw Bai Lu and Shen Yue leave the studio side by side. No bodyguards. No distance. Just two women walking slowly down the hallway, as if trying to rebuild every step they once lost. Fans exploded when they heard. Comments flooded in within minutes. She finally spoke. Is this real life or the best C-drama twist of all time? Protect them at all costs. Someone needs to give them a series where they're co-leads again. But none of that mattered as much as what happened next. That night, Bai Lu posted a single sentence on her account. Sometimes one line is all it takes. And fans knew exactly what she meant.